Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy. Thank you for joining us for our live tarot session today, October 1st. Happy October. It's a beautiful day. It's a wonderful evening. Thank you all for joining me. Let's give a shout out to you all in the chat. Good to see you, Ryland. Much love, Valerie. Graham, good to see you. Daphne, much love. I hope you're doing all right. NA, good to see you. Banner, much love. D Love, good to see you. Holler Haint. Johnny Harmonic, good to see you. Christy, much love. Geo, much love. Pamela, much love. Taz, good morning. All right. Mother Rhea, all the love in the world. Dream Spore, good to see you. All right. Geo, much love. All right. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you guys. It's great to have you all here. Oh, Stoic. Happy October. And we're on the cusp of a new moon. And it's a beautiful new moon in dual Libra, the sun and the moon. It's going to be a truly profound and magical moment where you can really move and flow, connect to others, and find that balance, bring that peace and justice to yourself, and enter into that harmony. Take advantage of this moment. It's truly magical, right? And it's only going to get more magical tomorrow as we enter into the full new moon, and we also enter into the solar eclipse. It's a profound moment. Take advantage, go out and be in that dark where Venus is now the brightest light in the stars, right? Magical. All right. So let's talk a bit about the title, Recognize Your Own Ability and Ascend to the Stars. I drew this morning when I was meditating, I drew the Knight of Swords. And when I was meditating on the Knight of Swords, it was this recognizing that this knight has that ability to soar, to fly to the highest heights, to achieve that mystical awareness and understanding. And that what's getting in the way of the knight is their own overthinking. If only they can balance themselves into that reason and they can recognize they have the strength to ascend instead of doubting themselves. The more they overthink, the more they doubt, the more they question, the less they're able to fly. That's the paradox. Their greatest strength is also their greatest weakness in this moment. But it's profound energy, that energy of growth, of learning, of transformation, and of ascension. And I wanted to read to you guys a beautiful poem. It's called A Vision of Beauty by George William Russell. Where we sat at dawn together while the star-rich heavens shifted, we were weaving dreams in silence. Suddenly the veil was lifted. By a hand of fire awakened, in a moment caught and led upward to the wondrous vision through the star mists overhead. Flare and flaunt the monstrous highlands on the sapphire coast of night. Fall the ghostly froth and fringes of the ocean of the light. Many colored shine the vapors to the moon eye far away. 'Tis the fairy ring of twilight mid the spheres of night and day, girdling with a rainbow cincture round the planet where we go. We and it together fleeting, poised upon the pearl glow. We and it and all together flashing through the starry spaces in a tempest dream of beauty, lighting up the place of places. Half our eyes behold the glory, half within the spirit's glow, echoes of the noiseless revels and the will of beauty go. By a hand of fire uplifted, to her star-strewn palace brought, to the mystic heart of beauty and the secret of her thought. Here of yore, the ancient mother in the fire mist sank to rest, and she built her dreams about her raid from out her burning breast. Here the wild will woke within her, lighting up her flying dreams, round and round the planets whirling, breaking woods and flowers and streams. And the winds are shaken from them as the leaves from off the rose, and the feet of earth go dancing in the way that beauty goes. And the souls of earth are kindled by the incense of her breath, as her light alternates, lures them through the gates of birth, then death. O'er the fields of space together, flowing her flying traces, in a radiant tumult thronging, suns and stars and myriad races. Mount the spirit spires of beauty, reaching onward to the day when the shepherd of the ages draws his misty hordes away through the glimmering deeps to silence, and within the awful fold, life and joy and love forever vanish as a tale is told. Lost within the mother's being, so the vision flamed and fled, and before the glory fallen, every other dream lay dead. Recognize the stories we tell and the power of that engaging in generation, right? We have to move and flow. We have to seize the day. We have to produce and look forward into that future, lest we get caught up in stagnation in our own ego and cease. Wow. Intense. All right. We're now going to begin with our Ganapati Oracle. Ganapati Ganesha is that divine child, the Lord of beginnings, the guardian of the threshold, and the master of the Ganas, the spirits of Shiva. All right. Ganapati, what is the message? Inspire us this evening and ensure that our words are heard by those who need to hear them. Today's message is beautiful. Joy. Joy. What more profound and powerful energy for than that Libra moment than joy? To be in that harmony, to be in that flow, in that love, in that balance, that is pure joy, right? That's where joy is found, in that balance. Amazing. I love it. So seek the joy in your own life. Find that center. Find what brings you happiness. You know, not that desire, right? Joy is greater than desire. Joy is something shared with those around you, right? It is a communal engagement. It's a communal love, right? Beautiful. Okay. We're now going to go to our sortes proper. For those of you unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy. That is divination through literature, and it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition. And we invoke the goddesses of inspiration, the divine muses, and we ask them to inspire us and send us a message through the text. Today, we're going to start with a few new books that were gifted to me by my dear friend Graham. And the first one we have today is A Sinister Assassin by Antonin Artaud. I'm really excited for this one. This is writings from the last years of Antonin's life and contains some of his most intense work. So let's see. Muses, what is the message from Antonin Artaud? Inspire us this evening. The human body is an electric battery whose charges have been drained away and suppressed, whose capacities and distinctions have been directed towards sexual life. When that body is created precisely to absorb through its voltaic movements all of the erratic openness of the void's infinity, of the void's apertures that are becoming more and more expansive, of an organic possibility that has never been fulfilled. Wow. Recognize. The body is an electric battery whose charges have been drained away and suppressed. We've been drained away and suppressed, whose capacities and distinctions have been directed towards sexual life, right? When the body is created precisely to absorb through its voltaic movements all of the erratic openness of the void's infinity, of the void's apertures. Not limited by sex, but rather our body is a pleasure receptor for the universe. It is a machine designed to experience life. And yet we simply obsess over one aspect. that are becoming more and more expansive, right? Not only are we experiencing this life as it unfolds, but that life is ever becoming more expansive, of an organic possibility that has never been fulfilled. And we can't even begin to fulfill this experience, to engage with it in its fullness. That is the purpose of our ever striving and evolution to reach it. And toning our toe is thinking generations, right? In terms of movements, of that erotic understanding of life, the coming together of matter and mind, right? The twins returning to form in that divine unity again, right? Sex on a far greater scale. Interesting. Let's continue. All right. We're now going to go to The House of the Dead by Jeremy Reed. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Jeremy Reed? Inspire us this evening. His anger boiled at me without the physical cooperatives to lay me out. And I stood up to him, the living and the dead, the man I killed, confronting an itinerant psychopath, waiting to take to it insurgent blue seas. Wow. Standing up in the face of what? In the face of that anger that boils up at us with those physical cooperatives. And I stood up to the living and the dead, the man I'd killed, confronting an itinerant psychopath, waking to take to insurgent blue seas. This is, again, you know what this is? This is a message about standing up against that piracy. And for those with ears to hear, understand what is meant by that piracy. This is a thread that goes across human history, that is still living and has possessed the dead as well. And that corruption must be stood against. You can't let it bully you, right? Intense message. Let's continue. L'Autrement, Malidor, and other poems. Muses, what is the message from the Conte de l'Autrement? Inspire us this evening. What is the shadow which casts the projection of its horn silhouette with incomparable power on the wall of my room? Does this not make us think of Plato's cave, right? And the great mysteries of perception, of sight, and the manipulation of perception. What is the shadow which casts the projection of its horn silhouette with the incomparable power onto the wall of my room? When I put this dumb, raving question to myself, the sobriety of my style is striving less for majesty of form than to give a picture of reality. Whoever you are, defend yourself. Oh, L'Autrement is interesting. When confronted with those visions, he demands they defend themselves. Are they just figures on the wall, or is there something greater that we are unable to perceive that is trying to show us something, right? It's always the question. Let us now go to The Flesh is Not a Prison by Graham Quinn. All right. Muses, what is the message from Graham? Inspire us this evening. Only then will the world be able to move forward. I truly believe this. All right, I guess I have to read the next line above here. Let's see. I'm going to read the whole poem, actually. This is a good one. It's called Fire, Gesture, Blood Cry. With wild gesticulation, I shall explain the passion which burns throughout my being. A passion to fucking rip the veil of this false reality away and reveal to everyone their naked and true selves. Only then will the world be able to move forward. I truly believe this. I couldn't agree more. We all must be exposed in honesty, truth and reconciliation, right? Wow, intense. Let us continue. All right, I'm now going to go to Aleister Crowley in the Book of Thoth. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Crowley? Inspire us this evening. Before her stands a goat upon a sphere. There is here a reference to the dogma that the great work is a work of fertility. This is hilarious. The great work is a work of fertility, but it is also more expansive than that. This is something that a lot of, and it's, to put it in such simplistic terms is to misunderstand something. The great work is, on one hand, that work of generation, creating the new generation, and that means procreation. Recently my dear friend Neil released a video talking about the Dionysian mysteries, and a couple people reached out to me, and you're like, so you're telling me the mystery of Dionysus was, coming together and creating something greater? Yeah, pretty much. But it's also greater than that too. When you look at something like the Eleusinian mystery, you have the uniting of heaven and earth, the Olympian and the chthonic, to produce something greater, that Plutus, right? That Dionysus reborn, that Sabazius, that bigendered child to come, that greater thing than us, something that overcomes us, right? And, that magic of generation is magic. And many of us are called to different aspects of that generation, to engage in creation in other ways, right? There's more to that creation and generation than simply the creation of children. That's to see it in a very, very limited and literal and almost uninteresting way, Creation is that engagement with beauty and the production of beauty and the love of the world, right? You give and you create in so many ways, right? Of course, children are a part of it. We must nurture and produce that generation. And that is a major part that cannot be forgot. But to dismiss other parts is also a huge mistake as well, right? Let's continue. Yes, of course, the decay is a huge part, right? The great mother is the great recycler. That which forces that evolution in that generation, that insists upon that change so that we ever evolve to be able to better experience the universe around us, to create new and greater understanding, right? And to do that, we have to be in that generation, expansive generation and flow, growth and evolution and understanding. The next generation is supposed to be greater than us. That is the mystery and the magic, We've forgotten so much of this. Think about other animals in the universe, There are fish at the bottom of the ocean that have adapted to live in the most inhospitable situations on Earth that we can even imagine, right? In a place that is a constant battle zone, struggling over nothing. Like life finds a way to persist, to evolve, to grow, and to experience, And I think about things like sharks have evolved ways to sense magnetism, Think about what life can do with that power of imagination over generations. We're so limited in our individuality, in our humanity, that we can't see outside of ourselves. We're no longer imagining something greater. Instead, we are afraid of losing what we have become. And therefore, we are entering this form of stagnation. And that is the great danger, when we start to consume ourselves and protect some kind of stagnant image rather than imagining something even greater still. Always greater. All right, let's continue. We're now going to go to Ore by Gabriel Macari. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Ore? Inspire us. One must be open to the idea that out of the dream, dirt and gold can be excavated, depending on where he looks and how he looks at the mystery. Beautiful. One must be open to the idea that out of the dream, dirt and gold can be excavated depending on where he looks and how he looks at the mystery. Through that image, through the symbolic, through the engagement with the unconscious and the mind, through that process of knowing oneself, you can process that dirt and refine it into gold. You can find these deep understandings, true knowledge of the self, which then creates a greater understanding and wisdom about reality. All right, let's continue. We now go to Federico Garcia Lorca. 3 Tragedies. Uses, what is the message from the great Lorca? Inspire us. Where's all this beauty going? Was that you singing? Yes. How well you sing. I'd never heard you. No. And what a vibrant voice. It's like a stream of water that fills your mouth. I'm always happy. That's true. Just as you're sad. I'm not usually sad unless I have reason to be. Where's all this beauty going? The beauty is going into the song. Where's all that beauty going? It's expressed in the vibrancy of life and in the world around you. How well you sing. Why do I sing? It's not because I'm always happy. It's because I have reason to be happy. Because I'm engaging with life. Right? Beautiful. All right. We're now going to go to Rebele, Gargantua, and Pantagruel. Uses, guide my hand. What is the message from Rebele? Inspire us. Confronted by a deed so virile and noble, their companion, mysteriarchal moles, have trembled and made miserable lamentation, framing dreadful protests, most pressingly begging and imploring the secular arm and the civil power to act, wildly and advocating that such cases be visited with exemplary punishment. Yet there has never been found one paragraph, rubric, or chapter anywhere in natural equity, the laws of nations or Roman law, which threatens punishment or torture for any such deed. Reasons resist. Nature opposes it. For there is not one virtuous man in all the world whose mind is not more utterly distraught on hearing the news of the abduction, shaming, and dishonoring of his daughter than of her death. Wow. Let me read this back to you guys. Confronted by a deed so virile and noble, their companion mysteriarchal moles have trembled and made miserable lamentations, framing dreadful protests, most pressingly begging and imploring the secular arm and the civil powers to act, wildly urging and advocating that such cases be visited with exemplary punishment. Yet there has never been found one paragraph, rubric, or chapter anywhere in natural equity, the laws of nations, or Roman law, which threatens punishment or torture for any such deed. Reason resists, nature opposes it. For there is not one virtuous man in all the world whose mind is not more utterly distraught on hearing the news of the abduction, shaming, and dishonoring of his daughter than of her death. Wow. And what they're pointing out here is that brutality, right, in that natural and Roman law, that brutality against women is not outlawed, even though it is something that rejects reason, even though it is the most barbarous of all acts, and everyone stands against it, except for those who protest and lament, It's this wild justification. We all understand that it's this horrible, horrible evil, yet no one stops it. This is, again, the thing with that piracy, right? Because it's so rooted in the depths of our culture. And people are not willing to confront themselves and their capability of violence and their desire to possess, and that greed. To truly resist piracy, you have to be able to resist greed. You can't possess another. You cannot reduce people to objects. You cannot be invested in that pursuit of pure property and capital, right? Oof, 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 oof. That was a painful read. Okay, let's continue. Cosmogonic Eros by Ludwig Klages. All right, Muses. What is the message from Klages? Inspire us. Well, then sink down, or might we call it soar? It is all one and the same. Escape the norming of what has formed to forms unbounded swarming. Delight in what long since has been no more. What was in all its gleam and effigy, there is a stir, eternal it would be. You, sovereign powers, assign it to diurnal bright tabernacle and to vault nocturnal. Wow. Wow. So this is a translation of Goethe. Well, then sink down, or I might well call it soar. It is all one and the same. Right? It's all one and the same. It all leads to that same path. Pleasure and pain bring you to the same spot. Escape the norming of what has formed to forms unbounded swarming. Escape the norming and pursue that unbounded freedom, right? Pursue that differentiation into the absolute, right? Expansion. Delight in what long since has been no more. Delight in what long since has been no more. Detach yourself from the past and imagine something new. What was in all its gleam and effigy, there is a stir. Eternal it would be. You sovereign powers assigned to it diurnal, bright tabernacle, and to vaults nocturnal. What was is eternal would be. It's past. You can still go to it in that dream. It forever exists. What has been, that past is an eternal reality, right? It is that tangibleness. And you can go there into the dream, but you must accept that it is the past, right? That it exists in that eternal would be. In that vault nocturnal. You know, we can no longer delight in what has been. We must imagine what's going to come. We must create from those previous forms that are new, right? We take from the past and we remix through that random, through the invocation of that Tai Chi, and we create something of a new nature. Wow. Whoever reaches into the unaskable, the never to be asked, for whether through mercy or by dint of magical power, whoever has escaped the I, transformed and became one with the pulse of eternity, he brings about and performs even the daring endeavor of necromancy. And could I not by fierce desire contrive to will the incomparable back alive? Even though he must confess with Faust, breathless I seem, my tongue is flattering, chained. This is a dream, and place and day have waned. Wow. That necromantic magic is about recreating the past into the future, reimagining the past in a new way, right? It is not a break with the old, nor is it entirely something new. Interesting. Let us continue. We're now going to go to the poems of W.B. Yeats. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Yeats? Inspire us this evening. I saw a stranger tap and wait beside the door of Peter's gate. The stranger shouted, "Open wide the sacred door," but Peter cried, "No, thy home is deepest hell, deeper than the deepest well." The stranger softly crew, "Cock-a-doodle doodle doo," answered Peter, "Enter in, friend, but 'twere a deadly sin evermore to speak a word of any unblessed earthly bird." I've read this one before, but it is such a beautiful one. I saw a stranger tap and wait beside the door of Peter's gate. The stranger shouted, "Open wide thy sacred door," but Peter cried, "No, thy home is deep as hell, deeper than the deepest well." His home is deepest well and deepest hell. Why? Because he is that stranger. He is that man. Then the stranger softly crew, "Cock-a-doodle doodle doo," answered Peter, "Enter in, friend, but 'twere a deadly sin evermore to speak a word of any unblessed earthly bird." He knew the song of birds and so could pass the gates. For those with ears to hear, my friends. Oh, wow. Psychic Bible by Genesis Peorage and the Temple of Psychic Youth. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Genesis Peorage and the Psychic Temple? Inspire us. You want the truth in a mirror where you can't grasp it. You have entered this world quite accidentally and will silently leave it again. Only the truth in your own fist will make you the master of this earth. You set security before the truth. Oh, wow, we are all being rebuked. I am sensing that fool Dionysus energy on full display. You want the truth in the mirror where you can't grasp it, where you are not physically confronted and forced to face the self in all of your brutal ugliness. Remember, you and the world around you are no different, and we have to confront the pain and suffering of our neighbors, of our community, of our world, right? You have entered this world quite accidentally and will silently leave it again. The truth of you is of little consequence, even though that perception and experience is beyond powerful and important. It is the entire reason the universe exists. Both matters and matters not at all, right? Only the truth in your own fist will make you master of this earth. You have to take action, and you have to make the truth for yourself, and you have to recognize your limitations and persist anyway. You have to leap as Dionysus would into that creation, chasing after that muse, after that Venus. You set security before the truth. You would rather be safe, sitting alone, than chase after Sophia, right? Wow. Let's continue. We're going to do one more sortes. Okay. We're now going to go to The Mystic Tarot and the Trees of Eternity by Oliver St. John. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Oliver St. John? Inspire us. When the golems have gorged themselves, they become enlivened, their dull pallor replaced with a luminous light. Thereby, the golems are able to transform into the alluring shape of all that human souls desire and yearn for. In the abysmal sea beyond the lake, millions of souls swim this way, and that in their ceaseless activity, enchanted by the lustrous phantoms dancing before them. Wow. Only when the golems have gorged themselves through that experience and through that sustenance do they replace their dull pallor with a luminous light. And they're able to transform into the illuming shape of all that human souls desire and yearn for. In the abysmal sea beyond the lake, millions of souls swim this way in their ceaseless activity, enchanted by the lustrous phantoms dancing before them. People falling for the flesh and for that corruption, for that falseness, right? For those forms, just golems. Wow, wild. All right. We're now going to go to our tarot proper. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. It boosts everything in the algorithm, and it would mean a lot. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, please reach out, snappydts@gmail.com, or you can find me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady Snappy. All right. And today we are using the Thoth Tarot of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. And we are going to invoke the energy of Saturn Chronos to dissect our life, to cut it up and put it on the plate, to show us how we can best evolve, how we can move forward, how we can overcome conflict, and how we can manifest our true will, and what is the greater message for our community. And as always, the center card is the most important card. And today's center is that strength. 9 of Wands. That fiery, passionate energy, having the power to persist in that desire, to pursue that fiery, loving passion, in spite of the difficulties, with that fire of inspiration. Does this ever recognize with the title of today, right? Recognizing one's own ability, recognizing the power that we have in our ability, embodying that strength and directing it towards the solar, to the stars, to that manifestation, to that engagement with that muse. Where's it going? Wow. Dionysus, that fool. We have to have that strength to chase after that inspiration, right? That love, that fire that causes us to do what Dionysus does, to rip themselves apart in order to love themselves and to chase after that love of the other, even though it lasts only for but a moment, and in spite of the pain of separation, again and again in that ever unfolding game of Leela. Wow. Having that fire, that strength, that passion, right? From the genitals to jump after that inspiring energy, right? To take the leap, to not be bound by security. Remember what the Sorte said. We are afraid of taking that leap. We would rather be secure than pursue what we love. What a rebuke, right? Oh, wow. Addis energy, right? The Prince of Cups is that immature man, that young person who's engaged in that process of pursuing the mystical flow, of trying to reach that dark harbor and drink of that cup, of ascend beyond the mud, of doing that hard work of self-refinement, engagement, and loving pursuit, of recognizing of where they have shown up in limited function, of trying to control themselves and resist sin. You know, Addis rides upon that beast and through the divine imitation ascends the stars so that he can drink that cup and achieve that apotheosis and become that great mother reformed. Beautiful, powerful, transcendent energy. But we must recognize the struggle. We must have the strength to endure, to persist, to resist temptation, to refine ourselves and to engage in that process of refinement. Beautiful. Let's continue. Next, we have the 2 of discs change at the top of our square connected to our 9, that strength. The change is coming, movement is coming, and we have to have the strength to adapt, to overcome the change and to move and flow. Beautiful energy. This signifies movement. signifies a changing of job, a changing of place, an expansion of opportunity. Truce. Not only is the change coming, the physical change, but we must learn to move in balance and to be in that truce energy, to be balanced in our perspective, to expand our perspective so that we can see from multiple sides. And through that sharing of perspectives, see the totality of the form, create that perfected image of the unfolding of the lotus flower. The beauty of that bloom is only understood through the unity of those four perspectives. It is only achieved in that balancing of the points, right? Otherwise, you cannot see that blossom for what it is. You are limited by your direction. You cannot see it from the top in that unfolding, in all of its glory, in that spiral that is that unfolding of the universe, that is that vulva of the goddess herself, that creatrix, right? But it comes from balancing these perspectives, from expanding your mind and being at peace. Again, that adaptation, right? Where are we moving and where are we working towards? Building that foundation, building that tower. This is the coming together again in that four of the balance and of that security, the creation of the family and the building of the home. The coming together for a family, for that base upon which you can manifest and grow. Beautiful energy. Wow. Where is this going? That perfected science, pure reason, the Six of Swords. This is about being in that true balance of reason, right? It is about looking at the situation from all perspectives, taking things into account and moving as you should, walking that middle way, finding that true will. And it's connected to that energy of the strength and that energy of the change. Recognize that this is what's meant to happen, that this is the right way. We just need to be reasonable and to be in that adaptation mode, to have the strength to overcome these changes, and to grow with them. Where's this going? Beautiful. On the right of that six, that reason, it brings us into this expansive growth. This is a relationship, three coming together in beautiful harmony that then produces an unfolding of love, right? This is a profound connection, a loving connection that brings that abundance. This is friendship, but more than just a duality. That's, again, this energy of the family, right? Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful again. We have that Ace of Discs, the building and creation, new working together, right? And it's coming together in that reason and in that abundance. So this is something that you're going to be creating in that community, with that community, as something together that's coming out of this foundation that you are building, right? That's going to grow and manifest, right? We just need to be that energy of that prince, the one who is trying to refine themselves and to pursue that loving energy, right? Who's in that strength. Beautiful. Wow. Magical energy. I love it. I love it. All right. Let me flip so you guys can see the full spread. Let's take a look here. Okay. So we'll start here. The key is having the audacity to try, to pursue that love, to jump after and embrace, right? That abundance, that loving connection comes when you move in that harmony, when you're at peace and in truth, when you are engaged in when these people expand your perspective and allow you that greater understanding. This is coming together in loving harmony with a group of people, establishing a new community, a new family. Beautiful energy, right? And right now we need to have that strength, that fire to light us, to allow us to move and to pursue this new abundance, to pursue this new perspective, to adapt to that change. And we have to have the reason to see how beautiful this is and to pursue it correctly, right? Beautiful, right? We're showing up as that person who recognizes and who's trying. We may be immature. This may be the beginning of a new direction, but we are in that profound energy of doing, of sharing, right? The prince isn't perfect, but that Prince of Cups offers their cup and is willing to try to engage in that reciprocal flow, is recognizing where they fall short and is striving to do better. And to be in that energy is to create that foundation, right? To create that foundation that brings that abundance, that loving community, that family energy, right? And with that power foundation, with that pursuing of love, we manifest a new tower. We create something in that community again, right? With those loving friends, those loving people, that new family. They allow us to build something greater, something new. When we come together in that reasoned, shared perspective, right? When we work for something greater. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow. Okay. Let's look at our crosses. Yeah. When we come into truth and understanding and we can truly see our perspective from multiple points, we can truly see the beauty that is at play. And when we have the strength to act, that's when we begin the new project, the new manifestation in the earth, the building of a new tower, a new business, a new project, something that will grow and expand beyond its limitations, right? The beginning of something truly great. And it begins with this fiery, passionate, inspiring energy and that sharing and coming together of perspectives, right? All coming together to create an idea that is greater than any individual, right? This is a project that is greater than just you, that requires that sharing of perspective in order to create that beautiful flower, right? But that inspiring energy that is generated from this new idea will lead to that creation. You just have to try, have to have the strength to persist, the audacity, right? That Dionysus energy. And then we have to have that strength to build, to engage with that power, to engage with these loving people, to pursue that energy, right? This is about coming together to build a true, like the 3 and the 4, it creates the 7, right? That perfection of the rainbow, right? The divine androgyne, the practical and the watery, right? The earth and the water coming together to form that home, the love and the security. You just also have to have that strength and that inspiration that sustains it all, right? Beautiful. And that reasonable energy to keep it in balance and the ability to adapt. It's all here, right? This is about taking that leap to be able to build and to connect, to be able to expand your perspective, to grow beyond, right? This reading is all about being in that energy of adapting, of recognizing where you are and that you're in a limited place, but that you have the strength to try and that you are working towards building that foundation, connecting to that loving family, right? Expanding your perspective, right? Adapting to change, gaining that reason, building that tower, right? This is such positive energy when we look here. Think about how positive all this truly is. These are all cards all about pursuing that muse, right? Engaging in very practical way of trying to overcome our present through reasoned action, through loving action, through the expansion of perspective, through connection with others. You know, this is positive, truly, truly positive. It means a lot of work ahead. It means a lot of work ahead. But this is beautiful work for beautiful reasons. Pursue that foundation, pursue that love, how the strength to try, Embody that Dionysus. Lift yourself out of the muck. Build that tower and expand your perspective. That's the message. I hope it resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Let's do one final sortes. We are going to go to William Butler Yeats. Okay. Muses, what is the message from Yeats? Inspire us this evening. Okay. Do you not know me, lady? I am he that you are weeping for. No, for he is dead. And oh, golden armed Iolan. Oh, wow. Interesting energy to think on. Do you not know me, lady? I am he that you are weeping for. No, for he is dead. A disconnection, looking after other forms, right? Do we see each other across the cycles? Do we recognize? Are we able to connect in that eternal love? Interesting things to think on. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this resonated with you. It certainly did with me. And I hope I see you again tomorrow for more live tarot and sortes. Until next time, take care.